the studio is TRT World's Editor-at-Large, Ahmed al Burai. Ahmed, I know you've been listening to Ismail and Hania, and very different that tone to all of the diplomatic language, even though all of that diplomatic language from almost all over the world has been negative in its reaction, but certainly not as angry as what we've heard from Ismail Hania.
It reminds me with the talk that happened by Yasser Arafat in 2002 when Ariel Sharon took to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. He went to the compound by himself, and that provoked the Palestinian. That led to the break between their strategic partner, Yasser Arafat, the late Yasser Arafat, with Ishaq Rabin at the time, the Oslo Agreement. Now, that led to another eruption of a violent intifada. This is what's happening now. It seems that Donald Trump is doing the same scenario that Ariel Sharon did by doing this move. It was provocative, not only for Ismail Hania, who said that the Oslo Agreement is already dead, the peace process is already dead. He's calling for another intifada. Maybe it's going to be a more violent intifada. So this is going to lead to very dire consequences. Nobody is going to be held accountable but Donald Trump himself and Benjamin Netanyahu, who's welcoming the move, though it violates all the international laws, including the UN General Assembly, back down to the 181 partition resolution that stipulate on Jerusalem as an independent entity. Nobody can govern, neither the Palestinian nor the Israelis at that time, because it's a very sensitive issue. Macron of France, they condemned the move. The UK condemned the move. The European Union. I am shocked by the Russians and the Chinese. We didn't hear from them so far. Now what's happening? Bolivia, Uruguay, Egypt, Japan are calling for an urgent meeting in the UN, and that's what we're expecting from these countries. Erdogan here in Turkey is calling for the assembly of the Muslim leaders next Wednesday in order to tackle this. This is what Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu should be listening to, because the region is already in turmoil. The region is already in fire, and it doesn't pair other crises.
How much influence does Ismail Hania have, particularly in that part of the world, in that region, when he calls for another intifada? How likely are people to listen to him?
Ismail Hania represents the Islamic movement of Hamas, and that's the movement, that's the wing that believes in the military resistance against Israel occupation. And if he does this kind of call, when the PLO and the BA, the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, is also calling for a kind of unification against this kind of move, I think this is going to give him more legitimacy, especially in the West Bank and Jerusalem. How this is going to develop, how it's going to play out in the coming few days, maybe we're going to go back to the campaigns of stabbing. Maybe we're going to go back to more violent reactions from young people, lone wolves. You don't know how exactly this kind of security cooperation between Mahmoud Abbas, who secured the West Bank for more than 10 years, no single suicide bomb happened in the West Bank, thanks to the cooperation between the PA and Israel. Now, in return, what does the PA get? More checkpoints in East Jerusalem, because people are speaking about Jerusalem as if it's the Abrahamic religions, it's only religious, but as a matter of fact, there are people living there, more than 250,000 settlers illegally in East Jerusalem. For what reason? These people are violating the international law. Jared Kushner, David Friedman, the ambassador, he's the financial supporter of the settlers, and he's the ambassador. He is not a diplomat. He is the bankruptcy lawyer of Donald Trump. So the whole team is in favor of Israel. This is completely destroy the myth of fair, impartial broker of the United States. That's why I think the Palestinians will start now looking for other alternatives. The Muslim world are going to be unified. This is one of the positive things you would say for many of the people we've been talking to. Mahmoud Abbas is speaking to Ismail Haniyeh. All the leaders are coming here to Turkey. Turkey is more involved in the issue. This is going to lead to more alienation of Israel and the United States. That's what it's going to lead to. It's not only relocating the embassy, it's recognizing this part of the world as exclusively just for the Jews, which is something provocative for many Muslims and Christians.
Muslim leaders will be coming here on the 13th of December to Turkey for a meeting of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, as you just mentioned. Ahmed al Burai, for the moment, thanks very much, Ahmed.